Challah is one of my all-time favorite breads. It's made using flour, yeast, eggs, a little honey, sugar, or both, vigorously kneaded, then beautifully braided to give it its trademark appearance. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Here's how I do it. We're going to start with the Preferment. We want to add 3/4 cup or about 170 grams of warm water to a bowl. Pour about half of that in, followed by 1.5 teaspoons or 5 grams of instant yeast. You can also use active dry yeast if that's all you have. I'm just using Fleischmann's. They never let me down. Mix the yeast until it's fully dissolved. Now go ahead and add 1.5 cups or about 150 grams of all-purpose flour, followed by the remainder of the warm water. Then just give that a good mix until all the flour is incorporated and you're left with a gooey mixture. I'm going to cover that with a damp towel and let that set out at room temperature for about an hour. If your yeast is alive and active, it should look super frothy and bubbly by then. Next, I'm going to add 2 whole eggs. I like to whisk them beforehand, then add it in. I'll add 1/3 cup or about 100 grams of honey, followed by 10 grams of granulated sugar. By the way, you can just use honey if you don't want to use sugar. No big deal, it'll still be delicious. I'll add 2 teaspoons or about 10 grams of salt. Then I'm going to add 1 egg yolk. Give all of that a good mix. It's not going to look too pretty at this point, but that's okay. Next, I'll add the rest of the flour, about 3 cups or roughly 400 grams. Go ahead and give that a mix. I like to use a spoon or spatula until I can no longer mix it. The last thing I'll do is add about 1/3 cup or 60 grams or so of olive oil. I like to add this in last as it makes it easier to knead the dough. I'll go in with my hands and start working in the olive oil until it's no longer, well, oily. Now for the workout. I'm going to lightly flour my surface and dump out all of this dough and begin the process of kneading. We're needing to not just fully incorporate all the ingredients, but also develop a network of gluten that's going to allow this bread to become puffy without ripping. Using my palm and the weight of my body, I'm just going to press down, turn 90 degrees, and just continue. I'll do this for about 15 minutes or so until you can develop a gluten window. I don't show it on camera here, but pinch off a little ball, spread it out using your fingers, hold it up to a light. If light can pass through it without tearing, it's ready to go. Once the dough is cohesive and smooth, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to my bowl, place the dough ball back in the bowl, cover with a wet towel, then set aside to rise for about 1 to 2 hours. The dough should about double in size, and when you poke it, it will spring back slowly but leave a small indentation. Now that our dough is ready, I'm going to flour my surface again, dump it out, and begin the process of dividing it into 6 equal parts. I usually just eyeball this, but you can use a kitchen scale if you want to be more precise. I'll just slice it in half and then proceed to slice in thirds. That way I have a total of 6. Now that we have our dough, I'm going to roll them into strands. Ideally, we want them all the same length and width. Mine are a little off here, but that's fine. Next, we want to connect them all at the top like this. It does help to make the tops a little thinner so it doesn't bunch up like mine. Now this is the fun part. I'm going to show you the easiest way that I know how to do this. The first step is to take the far right strand and cross it all the way to the left. After that, the next 4 steps are just going to repeat over and over until you run out of dough. It will go like this. Second left goes far right, far left into center. Second right goes far left, far right into center. Now it just repeats. Let's do it again. Second left goes far right, far left into center. Second right goes far left, and far right into center. So on and so forth. And we'll speed this up a bit, and I just repeat the process. I'll tuck in the ends to make it a little cleaner looking, and here we are. Nice and pretty. I'm going to give it the first egg wash. This is going to give the bread that beautiful brown sheen. Next, I'll cover it with plastic wrap and let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour. Once the dough is puffed up a bit, go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll take this off and give it a second egg wash. Now we'll bake it for about 30 minutes. And here we are. Let cool for 20 minutes or so before slicing, and that's all there is to it. This bread is wonderful for sandwiches, any type of melt, tuna melt, turkey melt. Use it as table bread with a little bit of butter, or my personal favorite use for it, French toast. It might be the greatest bread for French toast that I have ever tried, and I do consider myself a bit of a French toast connoisseur. Anyways, as always, ingredients will be in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.